there were two names that everybody was looking for to show up or not show up at OTAs. One of them showed up. One of them didn't. The person who did show up was an hour late, but Mike Tomlin said that, don't keep attendance. Too late, Mike. Everybody kept attendance. This is OTAs, man. Everybody's keeping attendance. Najee Harris came jogging onto the field about an hour into practice. Mike Tomlin said, that's cool, personal matters. It was excused by me. Meanwhile, Cam Hayward, nowhere to be found, called out the reports that he, told the Steelers, or that he chose to, make it known that he was holding out on his podcast, and he is not there. You hold any stock in Cam not being there through day one and what Mike Tomlin said about it, and at the same time, Najee showing up an hour late but still being there? Good sign for the Steelers?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Najee's like, a bad teammate or bitter or anything. I think he's if I don't know Najee personally, but if I understand his personality well enough, I think he's extra motivated, if anything. I don't think he's the type of guy to kind of shrink or sulk if something doesn't go his way. I think he just kind of puts his head down and continues to grind no matter what. Yep. So I'm not surprised to see him out there. I was surprised when he didn't show up for about an hour there. I was like, wow, this is a real story. This is pretty significant. But he comes jogging out about an hour late. He doesn't do a whole lot, but I assume it's just a getting back into the groove type of thing. He's similar to Cam and what you said about Patrick Peterson and a bunch of other guys this can apply to as well. But I'm not worried about Najee, getting his reps in or whatever. I think, maybe he needs to learn the offense a little bit. But I think Najee is smart enough and experienced enough to, look at a playbook and understand it, and he'll get his reps when he needs them. But for right now, I wasn't worried about him not being there, quite honestly, or showing up late, or kind of not doing a whole lot as far as his work on the field. Cam, kind of the same thing. I'm just not I'm not going to stress about Cam until, we get to, late August or anything. And if he's not on the practice field, that's when I'll get concerned. But for right now, I mean, Cam's got to do his thing. He's got to go through his negotiations. He's got to talk with the Steelers. He's got to, I don't know. And I think Mike Tomlin kind of had the right attitude about it, which is, look, Cam's got to do his thing, but we have an opportunity here to do some other stuff, to look some other people. Cam knows what he's doing, and we know what Cam is. We don't need any deeper of a look at Cam. We don't need him to refine his technique or anything. Like, Cam's good, and we know when he comes back, he'll be in the right shape. We'll know he will have been working out in his zone as everything. So I'm not super concerned about Cam. I don't think anyone needs to be super concerned about Cam. The fact that he wasn't there doesn't tell you anything that you didn't already know.
Yeah, I'm not. I have nothing against like the Cam situation. We already knew it. Mike Tomlin, said exactly what needed to be said, and maybe it's not all truthful, but it is to some degree. Like, I don't think Mike Tomlin's worrying about it right now because there's nothing to worry about, and he's got 89 other guys that he has to pay attention to and focus on, so he doesn't have time to focus on Cam Hayward. And honestly, quite frankly, that's not his job. Like, it's not his job to sign guys or extend guys or work out contract. He gets a roster. He works with that roster. He has input on who they add or get rid of with the roster, but he's got nothing to do with, oh, okay, Cam needs contract extension. I doubt he's in that front office saying, I don't know about that one, man. I think we're going to get rid of Cam after this season. I don't think those words will ever come out of Mike Tomlin's mouth. Najee Harris, on the other hand, I thought it was really good that he was there, because for a moment when he wasn't, and when you were sitting there thinking, this could be it. Najee's saying something. Like, I was more nervous about like what comes from that. Like, at that point, if you're not showing up to OTAs, it's whatever. But if you're not showing up to minicamp, now you're thinking, okay, do the Steelers move on from Najee Harris? Is this the end of Najee Harris in Pittsburgh? Where do they go from there? Jaylen Warren, that's your guy, but do you have a backup? Is Cordell Patterson good enough to be a backup still? Do you have to go get somebody? The wheels started turning, and then he ran out on the field, and you're like, okay, I don't know what you're doing, but sounds good. Have fun. Good. Glad that you're here. Shut down all those concerns, I think. So I think, just like you said, like it feels like he's just looking at it like, I just got to do what I got to do, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, and I think it's great that this is just a headache that we don't have to deal with, like us particularly, but the team as a whole doesn't really have to deal with the whole narrative of like, oh, is Najee unhappy? Like, is he disgruntled? Is he going to ask out? Is he, all that other stuff that comes with a holdout? You don't really have to worry about it all at this point, and that's That's really nice. That's just going into an off season without, or going into practices and OTAs without really any drama to worry about. You can just kind of focus on the football. Is a pretty good feeling, and I think Najee, you were worried that wasn't going to be the case for a while there.
Yeah, could you imagine if day one everybody's, what's good, man, dapping them up, you're giving, you're hugging some guys, asking about the off season, you're so excited to see everybody again, it's first day of school vibes, and they're like, all right, I got to ask you about Najee not being here. Let's start the drama day one, because we ain't waiting for nothing. Yeah, would have stunk. Glad he showed up. Cam, nobody's worried about Cam. Did you notice that there was no questions about Cam? Because nobody's worried about Cam.